Jamaicans have been negatively impacted by the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. According to the Statistical Institute of Jamaica's July 2020 labor force survey, the unemployment rate was 12.6%, 4.8 percentage points higher than July 2019. There was also an increase in the number of persons unemployed and persons outside the labor force. STATIN also reported that 57% of Jamaican households had reduced income between the onset of COVID-19 in March and September. In the midst of this economic upheaval, the Students' Loan Bureau says it has seen an increase in loan applications, 13,344 compared to 12,708 for the same period in 2019. That's a 5% increase. The Bureau too has been impacted by COVID-19, saying drastic changes have been made in order to serve its customers.
You may recall that the external examination, Cape CSEC, those were deferred, and as a result, we had to align our operations with these changes. So normally our application period starts from February and ends May, occasionally extend to June. This year, June, nobody knew what was happening in our space. So we adjusted our application period to take into consideration these changes. As a matter of fact, our application period was extended to September. And even now, even though the period has closed, you can still submit applications if you're interested. So that was one change that we made, extension of the application period.
A loan deferment period was also put in place.
For the customers who are in repayment, those who have finished studying, we had a payment deferral period from April to June. And that again in response to the economic impact it's having on customers. Our payments for April, May, and June, they were all deferred, meaning you didn't have to pay a cent. In July, after the deferment period, is what your loan is going to start with in July. So you pay nothing. Interest was frozen, everything frozen. Some institutions offered similar, but I can tell you they all continue to accrue interest during this deferment period. At Students' Loan Bureau, everything was frozen. So your account as at the end of March was your beginning balance as at the 1st of July.
COVID-19 has changed Jamaica's landscape. Curfews, social distancing, and persons begrudgingly wearing masks. One of the biggest changes, however, is the physical closure of schools. For over 10,000 students annually, the SLB is an option to continue or to begin. The Bureau began operation in 1970, was made a statutory body in 1971, and empowered to issue loans covering a percentage of tuition fees to Jamaican students pursuing higher education at local tertiary institutions.
We are the institution that bridges the financial as well as academic pursuits, strategies, plans of the government. So one of the 2020 vision for the government of Jamaica is investment in human capital. And as you can see from the development globally, human capital is the source for the advancement and development of any country. Even though we're even moving into a digital space, there's a human element behind every single system software. If it's even to develop, to maintain, to service.
The SLB sees itself as being different from other local financial institutions, and it is. The difference, how it grants loans.
You have your personal goals, your ambition. The Students' Loan Bureau is here to provide financing to students who are pursuing tertiary level education. The difference between us and any other financial institution in Jamaica is that we give you this loan, we grant you this loan on a moratorium basis, meaning while in school, for the period that you're in school, you do not have to consider repayment of the loan. That is supposed to be a source of relief, because when you have to think, okay, so I can afford the first semester, what am I going to do for the next semester? So when you're supposed to be concentrating on schoolwork, you're there, am I going to make it for the next semester? How can I ensure that I can continue my studies? The Students' Loan Bureau provides financing to take care, to relieve you of that stress.
As for repayment, the Bureau liaises with local tertiary institutions to determine the estimated duration of your program of study.
On application, we interface with the institution, so we know the program of study, the duration, and the cost. So you are pursuing a first degree in farming, for argument's sake. We would know, because we are provided with information from the institutions to say this particular program is a 3-year program and this is the cost per academic year. So we know. So when you apply for a student's loan, the system already tells us how long this is going to be. And so at the application stage, it will also tell us what is the estimated graduation date. So it's a three-year program, 2020 to 23 plus 3, 23, 24. At the end of 23-24 academic year, you're expected to graduate, to finish your course of study and to graduate. So it's not a professional student. It doesn't go on forever.
The institution has received criticism about its processes. Mrs. Rose Anderson says the coronavirus pandemic has forced the Bureau to make changes.
We also fast-tracked some of our technological projects that we had in the pipeline. One of them was the uploading of documents to the student loan. So in the past, students were required, like any financial institution, to provide supporting documentation for the loan application. What we did, we had a project underway and we fast-tracked to allow students to upload their documents so that they don't have to be coming into the office for their benefit as well as for our benefit. So that's another thing that was done. We also facilitated interviews via telephone, Zoom if needs be, using digital platform rather than coming into the office.
In response to government directives about the number of persons allowed in a space, the SLB says it has increased its online presence and made itself available via phone with a voice recording system.
So we have the interactive voice response, IVR, it was already in place. What we have done since the COVID, and it's something that we normally do about this period, during the application period, because we realized that the volume of calls will be increasing. We went through and ensured that it was working, it was providing the information as needed. So we did some stress tests to ensure that this medium was working, so customers can call and get this information. However, we find that, especially for new customers, those just matriculating from high school, the anxiety that goes around with this, they call and they ask questions and they just want, because they've never been through it before, they just want to be assured. So in addition to having the voice recording system providing information, we also have increased our presence on the digital platform. So we send out to customers, we're increasing, questions that you normally ask, frequently asked questions, and we break it down in bite sizes so that they have an idea what is happening.
The Students' Loan Bureau's website currently looks like this and does not allow for online payment, another fierce source of criticism. But plans are in place to remedy this.
Most definitely. Other than what COVID has introduced in our space, we have had this project. This is one of the projects that's also in the pipeline to enable customers to make their payments using the Students Loan Bureau on website. Right now we have third-party arrangements where you can make payments through the different commercial banks online. Student Loan Bureau is there as one of the billers. We also have arranged with Paymaster and Bill Express, where you can make the payment through these medium. But also, as part of our digital transformation, it was already in the pipeline, and so we are working with the developers. It is not quite completed as yet. We were hoping to have it completed by August, but they got impacted by the virus like all of us. So it is a little bit behind schedule, but it will definitely be in place hopefully before the end of this year.
In an attempt to appeal to more Jamaicans, the SLB says it is looking into offering loan products that include vocational students along with the usual tertiary experience.
Students Loan Bureau is here for you. We encourage and we are increasing our promotion of our products and services for the wider Jamaica. As a matter of fact, we are in the process of defining different other products to take into consideration online courses, these short courses, and professional courses as well. Those products, those product development are already in the pipeline. We are just tying some loose ends together to ensure that every ambitious person, everyone, has an opportunity to achieve their dreams through financing of the Students Loan Bureau.
The Bureau also offers the Good Standing Benefit. This is applicable to accounts in the repayment phase that are maintained on a current basis or are up to 30 days past due. The Good Standing Benefit is also applicable to beneficiaries who are still in school and maintain a grade point average GPA of at least 2.5 for the previous academic year. The SLB says it wants to reward its customers, offering discounts and debt forgiveness where applicable.
Customers who are in repayment and your accounts are current up to a maximum of 30 days in arrears. So here we're saying, we understand that life has bumps. You may have a little bit of a delay. So instead of making your payment on the due date, you're running a month late. We will still recognize your effort because you're consistently making or trying to make your payment, and they will also benefit from a 2% reduction in the interest rates. We also try to identify, different subsets in our society that make these intangible contributions to the development of the country, one of them being workers of charitable organizations. We know what these companies pay can be like. How about that? We're offering a 10% debt forgiveness on your loan balance, provided that you maintain your account current. And by current, again, we mean 0 to 30 days in arrears.
The Students Loan Bureau is doing even more to make itself attractive to working Jamaicans with the announcement of the Pay-As-You-Study loan product. This can be combined with previously existing SLB offerings and grants applicants over $1 million per academic year with a 7-year repayment period.
We are providing support to everyone in Jamaica. In this case, the professionals, we will be offering one of our products, the Pay-As-You-Study. This is one, you're a professional, you just admitted to be a professional, so it is assumed that you are working in the field, so therefore you can afford to make your repayment versus a student who just left high school. So there's the Pay-As-You-Study loan product that we offer to individuals to, while you are studying, rather than going into that little savings, you can get a loan to pursue your program of study. And I may add too, I use this opportunity to add that the pay as you study loan product can also be combined with the traditional student's loan product. So you have those programs that are pretty expensive, like the medicine, dentistry, and those pharmaceutical and so forth. The limit that we can grant loans for on these may not be sufficient for the cost of the program. Under the targeted loan, which is the one with the moratorium, maximum is $1 million, but this is costing you more than $1 million. You can also get an additional $1 million under the pay as you study program to combine with the targeted, so you're getting $2 million. And the pay as you study program, $1 million, 7 years at reduced interest rate. When you combine, and this is $1 million per academic year. So year 2, you're in the same program of study. You have your targeted combined with your pay as you study. We also have another product for postgrads. This is $1.8 million. Here, you finish your undergrad, you can move on to your postgrad. This also operates similar to the pay as you study program.
The Students' Loan Bureau is changing. The entity says it is currently re-engineering its processes using technology to drive business. It says the end goal is greatly improved service to customers. A date has been set for some of these changes, June 2021.
You're applying for a loan and we ask you for a copy of your birth certificate. Why do we want that? Because our mandate is we give loans to Jamaican and national. But you shouldn't have to be walking up and down with your birth certificate to get a loan. The interfacing with the various government agencies. So your registrar, Office of Registrar, the RGD, we're supposed to be able to pull that information to verify, yes, you really are a Jamaican. The TRN, all persons doing business in Jamaica need a TRN. You shouldn't have to be walking up and down with that card. You know your TRN, you provide that information in the application. The application goes straight to the TAJ database and validate that you say you are who you say you are. We're going to confirm your name, your date of birth, and that you are who you say you are. So these are the technologies that we have already started. As a matter of fact, the implementation is scheduled for June 2021, where we expect to see a significant improvement in our business, in our operation, and we are aiming to be the public sector institution of the government of Jamaica.
And the SLB wants to hear from you.
We always encourage the customers. There are news circulating out there about SLB is this, SLB is not that. Come in to us, talk to us, tell us what is it that you need. Because sometimes we are sharing information that are aged and you are making decisions not in your favor but based on misinformation. So come in, speak to us. We are very happy to hear from you. We need to hear from you because we are a part of this strategy. If our next generation cannot continue, then we are heading into a rabbit hole. Yes.